Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Hope you're all well and okay. Today we visit the Watts Memorial of Heroic Self-Sacrifice, which is in a place called Postman's Park in the City of London, just up the road from St Paul's Cathedral. And it's a wall of tiles full of names, dates and a story of people that found themselves in situations where they saved others and in doing so tragically lost their own lives. And most of the dates are from the very early 1900s, but it is really touching to read, and it's generally members of the public, but I think you've got a few Metropolitan Police officers on there. I think there's a firefighter on there as well, but as I said, it is mostly members of the public that just happen to be in a certain place at a certain time and without thinking just saved a person or a group of people, and in doing so tragically lost their own lives. And most of them are from the very early 1900s, so the stories are like really varied. I think the very earliest date on the wall is from 1863 and was for a lady called Sarah Smith, and she was a pantomime actress and she was working in the theatre, and there was a fire and she chose to attempt to put out the fire. I think there was someone else that was actually engulfed in flames, and in doing so she tragically lost her life. And the last date to be added to the wall was from 2007 for a gentleman you guys might have heard of. His name was Lee Pitt, and he actually worked in the city not too far from here, or from where the park is I should say. And I think he was at home and he heard some cries for help, and he realised that there was a young boy in the river struggling and in trouble. So without thinking, he bravely rushed down, jumped in, managed to keep the boy above the water till others got him out. But unfortunately he couldn't get out of the river himself and he tragically drowned. And I think that was 2007, but his memorial tile wasn't unveiled till 2009. So really tragic stories. The actual park itself, or the memorial, the Watts Memorial, was actually the brainchild of a gentleman called George Frederick Watts, who was an artist, and he initially put the idea out in 1887, and it wasn't well received at the very beginning. It was a battle for him to get it put through, and he even pushed the idea as part of Queen Victoria's Jubilee celebrations. And it wasn't until 1900, the early part of 1900, that the wall was completed. And Mr. Watts sadly passed away in 1904. So the wall is actually split into two sections, and in the middle there's like a statue silhouette in memory of Mr. Watts. So it is really, as I said, it is really touching, and does make you think when you read the stories, because they're so varied. So we have a look at the stories, we have a look at the dates and the names. We also have a look at Postman's Park, which is a beautiful bit of green area. And as always, I hope you enjoy the video, guys. If you've been through the park and read the stories and looked into the stories yourselves, or even on the flip side, if you've even walked through the park, seen the memorial but not quite realised what it was until now, let me know your comments down below. G.F. Watts Memorial to Heroic Self-Sacrifice. Unveiled in 1900, the Memorial to Heroic Self-Sacrifice was conceived and undertaken by the Victorian artist George Frederick Watts, 1817-1904. It contains plaques to those who have heroically lost their lives trying to save another. Watts believed that these everyday heroes provided models of exemplary behaviour and character. Supported his drowning playfellow and sank with him, clasped in his arms. Ernest Benning grasped an oar with one hand, supporting a woman with the other, but sank as she was rescued. William Goodwin lost his life saving a workman from death under a train. Thomas Simpson saved many lives from the breaking ice. Miss Yarman, wife of George Yarman, refusing to be deterred from making 3 attempts to climb a burning staircase to save her aged mother, died of the effects. Wow, William Fisher, aged 9, while trying to save his little brother from being run over. Tragic. Alex Stewart Brown, though suffering from severe spinal injury, the result of a recent accident, died from his efforts to rescue a drowning man. George Frederick Simmons rushed into a burning house to save an aged widow and died of his injuries. Richard Varys was drowned in attempting to save a poor girl who had thrown herself. Richard Varys was drowned attempting to save a poor girl who had thrown herself into the canal. Samuel Lauderdale drowned when rescuing a boy at Blackfriars and saved 2 other lives. George Lee Furman carried an unconscious girl to the escape, falling 6 times and died of his injuries. William Freer Lucas risked poison for himself rather than lessen any chance of saving a child's life and died. William Drake lost his life in averting a serious accident to a lady whose horse were unmanageable through the breaking of the carriage pole. Edward Blake drowned while skating at the Welsh Harp in an attempt to rescue 2 unknown girls. Ellen Donovan rushed into a burning house to save her neighbour's children and perished in the flames. Edward Morris, aged 10, bathing in the Grand Junction Canal, sacrificed his life to help a sinking companion. Elise Ayres, daughter of a bricklayer who by intrepid conduct saved three children from a burning house at the cost of her own life. Godfrey Nicholson, manager of a Stratford distillery, successfully went down a well to rescue comrades and was poisoned by gas. John Cambridge drowned near Ostend while saving the life of a stranger and a foreigner. Solomon Gallerman, aged 11, died of injuries after saving his little brother from being run over on Commercial Street. Mother, I saved him but could not save myself. G. Garnish, a young clergyman who lost his life in endeavouring to rescue a stranger from drowning at Putney. James Bannister rushed over when an opposite shop caught fire and was suffocated in an attempt to save a life. John Clinton, aged 10, who was drowned near London Bridge trying to save a companion younger than himself. Elizabeth Colgan, Stoke Newington, died saving her family and house by carrying blazing paraffin to the yard. Sarah Smith died of terrible injuries received when attempting in her inflammable dress to extinguish the flames which had enveloped her companion. Arthur Regelius died in trying to save her children from a burning house in Bethnal Green. Robert Wright entered a burning house to save a woman, knowing that there was petroleum stored in the cellar. An explosion took place and he was killed. Another police constable. Arthur Strange, on a desperate venture to save two girls from a Quicks and in Lincolnshire, were themselves engulfed. Henry James Bristow, 8 years old, Walthamstow, saved his little sister's life by tearing off her flaming clothes, but caught fire himself and died of burns and shock. Wow. John Slade, when his house caught fire, saved one man and dashing upstairs to ruse others, lost his life. Joseph William Onslow, who was drowned at Wapping on the 5th of May 1885 in trying to save a boy's life. Daniel Pemberton, age 61, surprised by a train when gouging the line, hurled his mate out of the track, saving his life at the cost of his own. Hope you enjoyed the video, guys. As always, if you could please like and subscribe. I know I've said it before, but subscribing is absolutely free. It costs nothing. And also leave your comments down below. We will see you on the next video.